come from many places on the planet. We don't necessarily think the same way. All different, but as one, united by this strong belief, diversity is the answer. Because all views matter. We are all views. Our purpose is to help people understand what others think and why. Through sharing the compelling diversity of news. Euronews is not driven by a political agenda. Euronews is not a media giving one single point of view on world affairs. On the contrary, Euronews is empowering people, helping them form their own opinion. This is what Euronews is.
We get the same brief, we talk it over. With journalists from so many different backgrounds, our take on it can be very different.
Et lorsque vous êtes sur Euronews, vous retrouvez cette grande richesse, l'influence des différentes cultures et sensibilités de nos journalistes sur chacun des services linguistiques de notre chaîne. Et cela, c'est l'une des plus grandes forces d'Euronews.
The stories are all around us today and everyone has the story. That's why we choose to go beyond the main line. We look at all the facts and contexts that matter. We send our journalists around the globe and we stay away from the endless talk. This way, we are the storytellers.
Euronews. All views.
Hi everyone. So this was the presentation of the company I'm working for. I'm Michael Peters, CEO and President of Euronews. Very happy to be here today. So I have a very short time to speak about a very long story. It's about our industry and I mean changes in the models and Actually, we live a revolution in the media industry, same kind of revolution that the music industry experienced like 30 years ago, or the press industry experienced 10 or 15 years ago. And we all need now to reinvent ourselves. We need to find new business models, and it's a quite challenging time for all of us. I'm speaking about international news or media organizations from news and other different sectors. Actually, maybe news is a little bit different because the problem actually is you guys. The problem is, it's always you guys anyway, the problem is that contrary to music or sports or even cinema, the consumers are not used to pay for news which are coming from old traditional TV networks. You never had the habit or the volunteer to pay to get the news. For you, news are supposed to be free and just come to you. And then, in the meantime, you will pay a fortune to watch for football or to watch for movies. And in the meantime, you want a kind of variety of offers that is new to us, and that I will categorize in two main categories. There is the non-linear offer, which means video on demand or digital offer, so which usually happens when nothing happens, when there is not a big news event. What you want to consume is a media or a brand which is that you will consume on your phone, on the web, etc. You will watch to consume short stories and really the way how you want to do it. But the problem is that when there is a big event that happens, like a bomb attack or something huge, then you want to go back to this old traditional linear offer, which is TV offer, and you want to watch news live with journalists, etc. So the problem we have is that we need to split now our offer into two different categories. We cannot switch from TV to digital. This would be too easy, you know. This would be the ideal world for us, you know, saying, okay, we just stop TV, we just go on digital only, and then we put all the resources we had on TV, we put them on digital. The problem is that we need to still offer to you the two kind of offers. And, you know, in a lot of keynotes and even before, you know, the words agility, 360 degree were very trendy. But I think it's just bullshit for keynotes. At the end of the day, if you are proposing to you, if you are a journalist proposing a content that you will watch on a linear way, like a traditional TV way, the way how you will consume it is totally different from the way you will consume the same content on a website, on your app, etc. So we need really to have two different views, two different reflexes in order to provide you those two kind of offers in two different ways. And this means different people. This means different resources. And this means that we all need to increase our resources. In the same time, the cake of advertising, the cake of revenue, is getting smaller and smaller. When Euronews has been launched, it was more than 25 years ago, or not more, but nearly, we were 5. BBC, CNN was here, we were here, and we were just 5. Today, we are more than 250 international news channel. I'm even not speaking about the national ones. And every year, new organizations and new brands are arriving. And the problem that we have is that those brands are actually arriving to serve a specific purpose, which most of the time is political. So nearly every year now, if not every 2 years, a country is launching its own international news media. The last one has been Turkey with TRT World. I'm not speaking about Russia Today, Al Jazeera, France 24 in France, Deutsche Welle, which is much more older, etc., etc. And all those medias are here to serve you with a precise view of news. They are paid by their shareholder, which is a country. They receive millions and millions, dozens of millions, to deliver one specific perspective about the world news affairs. And we, thriving in this universe where we don't receive any subsidies from any shareholder because we are mainly private, like CNN. We are the two only real private organizations. And we need to thrive and to survive into this media universe. In addition of that, we have this phenomenon of the GAFAs, the social networks, the digital world, which takes a big part of the cake. Today, an average, I was speaking with a colleague of yours, I understand that in your country, 70% of the digital revenues which are generated today are going to Google and Facebook, 70%. So the 30%, the 30 remaining percent has to be shared between all the different media brands. And I can tell you that the average I know in Europe is even higher, it's 75%. So there is more and more costs that we have to put in place. There is less and less revenues, commercial revenues, and this is the reason why we need absolutely to reinvent our business models and to find new ways to thrive into this media universe. So the first thing to say is what will be the key? And what shall we focus our efforts on to change our model? I think that the key will have just one big word, which will be trust. I think that today there are so many brands that you consume. When anything big happens, you go on anywhere, any platforms, and you have hundreds, if not thousands, of videos of the kind of same matter. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news all the time. And what will you do? You will just consume the brand you trust at the end of the day. And in this world of fake news, we know that this will be the more important thing. And if you follow the thing that working on fake news, debunking news, etc., is another cost that we need to implement to be sure that we deliver you the right thing and to be sure that we will never be like in a bad situation. Because today, when a breaking news story happens, I mean, Reuters, APTN, all the press agencies, videos agencies are late. Who are the first on the event? It's you guys. It's all the people who are sharing photos, videos, stories on the social networks. And sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. You know, you can go on any of these social networks and being here and just posting a video of me saying I'm addressing a speech against North Korea or whatever, you know. I mean, you can put whatever the place, the location you want, and then you just show the story, and then anyone can take it and can think it's true. So I think that trust will be very important, and in order to do that, we need to, every one of us, deliver a message to you, a kind of mission statement, a kind of vision, you know, like any brand, by the way. And the one that we are trying to serve at Euronews, that you may have seen in this film, short video presentation, is that we think that we should deliver you all views. I think that the role of a media in this society is not, contrary to our competitors, to deliver you one perspective about the news of the world, but to try to deliver you as many perspectives as possible, as many voices and views as possible, to help you to make your own opinion and to, at the end of the day, empower you. I think this is the role of a media, is to empower the consumers. Because you don't have time. There is a hyper-competitive sector, hyper-consumption of news. You have news all the time, and you don't have time. And in this global village of news, you cannot imagine how it is easy for you to make yourself your opinion about a thing with just a 30-second slot news piece that is given to you by an organization. I don't have the time here, but I can give you many examples, things that you have heard, that have been told you in a very short way, and that actually were not true. Because why? Because just the journalists didn't have the time to check enough facts and to come, and because time is a constraint now in our industry. So I think that trust is something important. And I think that delivering the vision that you represent and the USP, the unique selling point of your brand, like in any organization, like in technology organizations, will be key for our industry. Then you have AI. AI will be soon here. I mean, it's already more or less here. And AI will be everywhere anyway. So AI is the new web, you know, for the future. So there is, for the time being, a lot of resistance or a lot of, let's say, questions from all the different newsrooms. people could say, okay, AI, what does it mean? That robots will take our place and we will all be fired and just news will be done by robots. I think that it won't be the case at all. And I think that AI, if well exploited, will be a chance for any sectors, any organizations. And I think that, by the way, what works for news or media can work for any kind of industry. I can take the example of, I don't know, bank or law or advocate industry. I think that for the time being, with the resources that we have, and as you understand, with the constraint we have, because we cannot increase the resources even higher than what we have to do now, because the revenues are going down, I think that a lot of people in the newsrooms are doing, a lot of journalists are doing a work which is a kind of elementary first step, basic journalistic work, which we are obliged to do, giving you, let's say, when a breaking news happens, giving you the story as it happens. And for that, we use a lot the press agencies, the videos agencies, etc., etc. And the problem is that we need to differentiate ourselves. As I said, we are in a world of hyper-competition, and our brand needs to be different from the others. And we can't differentiate ourselves just giving you simple, factual news on an event that is happening. Where we need to differentiate ourselves is going through investigation and especially analysis. Again, to help you to make a better opinion of yourself. For example, in Euronews, as I told you, we believe strongly into giving you all views. So I think that as soon as an event is happening, a big story is happening, we should immediately try to tell you, okay, guys, this is the first view you have heard, but look at this one, and look at this one, and this one is telling that, and then make your own opinion. We are not saying one is right, one is wrong. We are just trying to give you different point of views. But to do that, it's a very nice way to do it, but it takes time and resources. And this is why I think that AI, like for if you are going to see a lawyer, he will, if you have a case, the lawyers are spending hundreds of hours, to go to see the different cases, what has been decided by this court, on this court, and this court. So a lot of research work that could be done by AI, and then focusing the time of the people to deliver added value service. And I think that this could be the case for organizations, media organizations, to be able to give you much more added value, and for the journalists to focus much more on what they know, much better, to analyze things and to investigate on different things. So this is another key thing that will happen in our industry. Maybe just to, as time is very short, maybe a last word on the social networks and how do we need to exist and live with all these organizations. So again, here we have a little bit the same problem than for example, the movie industry. With the arrival of platforms like Netflix, etc. And so you had platforms like Netflix who spent at the right beginning of their success millions, dozens of millions, even maybe billions, into a product. So what Netflix sold you at the beginning, it's not the case now even more, was only a good user experience. And this is exactly the case of the different social networks, the GAFAs, YouTube, Google, Twitter, Insta, Facebook, etc. They have investigating a lot of their time, attention, and money in order to serve you a product that is fitted to your user experience. And they even create the need, and they are great on that. And they have so many millions and so many times to do it that they are doing much better than us. But we are investigating billions in all the industry into content, like the movie studios in Hollywood, for example. And you know that the movie studios have decided at one point to stop giving their content on Netflix. And this is when Netflix said, okay, I need to create my own content. And they went into a further step to say, in addition of the products I offer to you, I will invest into content. For the time being, in our industry, this is not the case. Just because we are maybe stupid, and me and my peers, we have not been able to, maybe we should speak between ourselves, CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, etc., and say, okay, guys, we just withdraw all of our content from all the social networks and we create our own news aggregation platforms. It could be something that could happen. But for the time being, we are stupid enough not to do it. So all these aggregators, they don't have to invest into content. They still have to invest into products. And by the way, it's fine for them because investigating into content means a lot of responsibilities. You have heard all the scandals around, fake news on Facebook, etc., etc. So this is a problem that we have for the time being. And I have to tell you, I don't know how to solve it. I think that no one knows how to solve it. We have partners, because all these media platforms, social media platforms are partners, who are here to take our content, to deliver it to you. We spend all our money into this content, and we are obliged to put it in these platforms. The problem is that then we make some revenues with it, but the price of advertising on these social networks is so low as regard to what we sell. Just to give you an example, the measure of selling the revenue is thousands of you. So sorry to say it, but when we go to see an advertiser, we say, I sell you, we say cost per thousand, so I sell 1,000 of my consumers to you. And just to give you an idea, the price of 1,000 of you guys on a social platform like YouTube, or Facebook, or whatever, Insta, is between 10 and, let's say, 30 or 40 cents for 1,000 people. On a digital platform like Euronews or CNN or whatever, the price for 1,000 of you is 20 to 30 euro. So you go from 20 cents to 20 euro. You see the difference. So it means that the revenues are extremely small on those platforms. Then we share this revenue with the platforms, so we have a rev share, but of something which is extremely small. And it doesn't make our business sustainable. So you will tell me, yes, but then it doesn't make the business sustainable for the platforms too. No, not true, because what they're doing with us, they're doing with millions of others, media organizations. So they win small, but on millions of people, which means at the end of the day, they win a lot. So, and I have to say, fair to them, they find a fantastic business model. And now it's up to us, when I told you at the beginning of my speech, to try to find a new way to exist and to try to avoid this system that make that our content is delivered to you through platforms which are not our properties. So the content is no more our property in terms of click, of views, and making not a lot of money. So just to finish, I want to say that we have a lot of challenges in our industry. I always say that I don't come with any solutions, but I think that technology, which is the purpose of this conference, will help us for sure to try to do things better, to improve the trust on our brands, and maybe a last point, to customize, because maybe a last thing that I could say is that one other key of the future will be to be able to customize more and more the news we have to offer to you. And AI will help that. All of you here, if I will make a test, some of you are interested in sports, others in business, others in cultures, others in arts, others in science, maybe a lot in science here, or in technology or whatever. And finding all this content on a news platform like us is extremely complicated. So maybe AI and the future will be to try to deliver to you customized, personalized content that will reach directly your center of interest. So this is another conclusion. So I hope that I had only 20 minutes to speak about something that I should speak 3 hours about. And I hope at least it was a bit clear of what I said. Thank you very much.
Okay, Michael, thank you very much. And I think you pointed out a couple of very important things. I mean, speed is very important, but at the same time, you have to act within a very limited time frame to really bring quality news and contents. You also said trust is key. And there's some things that you still haven't found out, especially with the fake news, how to tackle that. I don't know if AI might be a solution to that. What is your view on that?
Yes, in one way, AI may be. I mean, fake news is a big thing. You're right. I should have spoken about that. The first company that exists, that has been created to fight against fake news, is a company called Storyful. I don't know if you have ever heard about this. And the model that they have is based on so it's very high-level journalists, but who are working on a very AI system. And I think that AI will be the case. I was just mentioning, look at just what technology will help you fake news. Just look at one very easy point. When a breaking news is happening in the world today, as I told you, you have dozens of videos, but if you go to any social networks, you can take a video here and say you are in another place, and then you just put the name, and that's it. And how can we verify that? But you have some platforms like Snapchat, for example, which is more and more used now by an organization like us, where you can really, I mean, when you take a picture or a movie, it's the movie is really geolocalized strictly by the platform itself. So, for example, then we trust, and it's a way it's a very easy example to fight against fake news. So I think that technology will help a lot into fighting against fake news. But then, they are still humans. Look at the last case, on the American President Trump, we say something on someone, we have the proof, we just show it to him, and he could say, no, I didn't say it, but guy, it's here. But so then the bad face of the people will never be able to come to fight against AI.
Exactly, and that's also why we're here today, because those are some of the future challenges that you are facing specifically for your sector. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we cannot take any questions because Michael, well, I think you're boarding in about 45 minutes' time.
Well, yeah, maybe just 5 minutes or just one question if possible.
One question from the audience, if there is any question.
So everyone is happy for me to take my flight.
Everyone is super, super happy. Then thank you so much once again for your contribution, and have a safe flight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.